It's time for a Poppy Playtime Safari. Hey guys, what's going on? Today, we're going to be looking at a bunch of theories for Poppy Playtime Chapter 6. So, obviously, all the theories in this video might not end up being true, but who knows? Maybe some of these will be added. If you have a theory of what you want to see in Poppy Playtime Chapter 6, leave me a comment and also hit that like button and subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the theories. Okay, so cool thing about this is all of these theories actually come from you guys. I've made a bunch of YouTube shorts and I've made a bunch of YouTube videos, and you guys have left me a ton of comments theorizing what you believe is going to happen next. So let's look at some of yours first. So our first comment is from 23 Perspolis. How you doing, man? The reason why the Doctor is alive is because he probably backed up his consciousness on a backup file deep in the factory, and we sadly accidentally ended up activating it, bringing him back to life. I don't doubt that whatsoever. So for the past day, I've actually been dragging my girlfriend into watching Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 again with me because I wanted to look a little bit more into the Doctor so I could be informed enough to make this YouTube video. Here's my belief. We all know that we killed the Doctor's brain, his liver, and his lungs, and we believe that was the end of him. Well, then how does he activate at the very end? I think this theory makes complete sense. If he backed up his consciousness on a drive, he's very extremely smart. We see a bunch of tapes throughout Chapter 4 of the Doctor getting very frustrated at another Doctor named Mr. White, Dr. White, whatever his name is, who did this to him. Remember, the Doctor used to be a real human guy. It was only during Playtime Co that he turned into this digital weirdo. So maybe the backup all along is because only the Doctor knows how to stop the prototype. That's just my theory, and apparently this guy's too. So going right off of that, I want to talk about Beck OG8694's comment. Also, if you're watching this video, thank you again for all the comments. And this person says, the Doctor's return makes sense since he is a computer and computers transfer data. Also, when our goal was to get backup data center, then everyone silently knew he is back, plus Doctor is just such cool character, and his return I enjoy far more than Huggy Wuggy than I think it was necessary to be brought back. That was a long sentence. Actually, they bring up an interesting idea. If you think about the end mission, it was find the backup. Backup, like, you know, you need an army, but you need a little bit more because it's not enough. But the backup could have literally just been the backup save hard drive of the Doctor. So, I don't know, I thought that theory was fire. Thank you so much for saying that. Ethan says, I want a prequel to Poppy Playtime where we play through the Hour of Joy as a hidden survivor, like 3 chapters. 1 what happened before, 2 the Hour of Joy, and 3 our escape. I think that'd be such a cool thing to start off Chapter 6 with. You know how we always get like that little tape beforehand that shows us like the new kind of mechanic of the game? We had Doey the Dough Man, we had the Inside Animals for this one. What would be super cool is maybe like for the first quarter of the next game, we are ourselves, like we still play as the former employee, but during the Hour of Joy. Now, maybe we were sick with the flu at home, who knows, but I think that'd be a really cool perspective, and I really appreciate you saying that. You know, I want to theorize about how we escaped, and if you guys want to see me make a video about that, I'd be happy to do so, because I have some ideas. I genuinely just think we didn't go to work that day, and we were very lucky. Alright, the Zebra Squad says, I think the way we defeat him is we have to rip the core out of the middle of his body. So, this theory, I'm a little bit apprehensive about, only because I completely believe that Dr. Henry Sawyer, whatever his name is a complete digital form now. I don't think he has any physical parts left since we got rid of his lungs, brain, and liver. However, I think a core is a very cool thing. I remember back in my day, I used to play a lot of those Roblox core games where like you had to blow up the whole facility by getting to the big digitalized core. I don't know if you guys remember that. Those used to be a lot of fun to me, but I do appreciate that theory. And hey, if you're right, you get a shout out in my next video. Eggs for Food says, Chapter 6 is probably the finale because we've never been in the same section of the factory for 2 chapters before. That's a very interesting thought. You think about Chapter 1, we started at the very top, then Chapter 2, we were moving down to Mommy Longlegs' houses, and then Chapter 3, we were in like the underbelly, then Chapter 4, we were in the big underbelly, and then Chapter 5, we're starting to go back up. So it only kind of makes sense that in Chapter 6, we might be back in the Chapter 2 area, or hopefully the Chapter 1 area. Sweetface Tito says, I have watched Chapter 6. Well, could you please share it with us? I'd like to see it too. ABOOMJ says, to be honest, I think near the end, we're seeing things through Poppy, given how we're literally on death's door and the bear, forgot his name, said he couldn't save her. The bear is forgettable, I'll give you that. Yeah, totally. I think that's a very fair theory. It was also recently confirmed by the devs that the ending sequence, at least us being dunked in the Poppy gel, was us. However, I could see a world where some of the cutscenes that we saw were through Poppy's vision. So good theory. The next theory we have is by this person on screen right here. I don't want to attempt to say your name in case I get it wrong. He wants us to be a toy because he's impressed with us. I think in Chapter 6 we were brainwashed and will likely lose the battle. The prototype might win. And that wins theory of the day. You got 10 likes on that video. You got a hearted comment from me. That is the same theory that I want to make today. I have reason to believe that the prototype is preserving us for a reason. I've said it since the game came out. The whole point of Poppy Playtime so far is kind of just showing off the fact that these humans are turned into toys. You look at Jack and the two other kids inside of Doughy. You look at Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy. These people are human. We are an obviously very good human if we're not a cyborg, which is for a different video. Of course the prototype would want us on his side, because if he has us, he has the entire world. All in all though, I'm not sure if we're gonna be turned into a toy. I don't know. I can't really make a decision on this. There's a world where I think that we win and that everything ends happily ever after, but they have to set up sequels. Their company's not just gonna shut down after chapter 6. I've mentioned in a previous video that you can see up here that they're expanding to Tokyo, Japan. They're expanding to these other places. They're making theme parks and things like that. So if this is the case, this game can't be the last one, but it might be the last for our player. I don't think anybody's dead. I'm starting to very much question the death of Lily Lovebraids, Huggy Wuggy, Kissy Missy, Doughy the Dough Man. This dude, that sounds like I'm just naming crazy things. I sound like I'm insane. Mommy Longlegs might be dead. And that's pretty much it. I don't think anybody's really gone. I think when we see the prototype kill Catnap, we see the prototype kill Huggy and Kissy, they're just gonna go get brainwashed again. They're still useful in their own ways because they're still strong. It's just their consciousness that's kind of allowed them to help us in their own ways. We're treated just the same as these other toys, even though we're on the opposite team. Now, I know Kissy Missy's technically on our team too, but I'm just putting that aside for a second. Catnap was like the prototype's main guy and stabbed right through the stomach, and so did we. So my question to you guys is, what are we? Are we human? Are we cyborg? Are we a toy? We don't know. Now, obviously, we get referred to as human a lot, so maybe we're a humanoid-looking toy, a humanoid-looking cyborg, but there's just some things that aren't adding up. How did we survive that massive fall? How did we survive being stabbed? Oh, yeah, you're in the Poppy Gel. Okay, but Poppy Gel is not gonna save a broken leg from falling 50 feet. Like, dude, I don't get it. But all in all, this game is just, I guess, just starting to ramp up. It's taken 5 chapters to get here, and we're still just as confused as chapter 1. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, let me know. Leave a big like and subscription down below. I appreciate each and every one of you. All glory goes to God. I'll see you guys next time. Good.